Welcome to another Explainer. Today we're taking a pretty fascinating journey out of the flatland of basic math and stepping boldly into the third dimension. We're going to explore cubes and cube roots, but honestly, I don't want you to think of these as just raw numbers or tedious calculations. Try to think of this as a spatial, puzzle-solving detective story. We're going to decode the hidden structural secrets of numbers, uncovering patterns that are quite literally hiding in plain sight. So if you're ready to expand your mathematical toolkit, you are absolutely in the right place. Let's get to it. Here's a quick roadmap for our investigation today. We'll start with Section 1, Welcome to the Third Dimension. Then Section 2, Hidden Patterns of Cubes. Section 3 is the magnifying glass, which is factorization. Section 4, Reversing it with cube roots. And we'll finish up with Section 5, the estimation math hack.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Welcome to the third dimension. Let's take a look at what a cube actually looks like when we bring it into reality.
When we talk about cubing a number, it's super easy to just see a tiny little 3 hovering next to a base digit on a piece of paper, but I want you to visualize physical space. A cube is a three-dimensional object, right? It has length, width, and height. Take a standard Rubik's Cube, for example. It's exactly 3 units long, 3 units wide, and 3 units high. If you count every single one of those smaller blocks making up the larger object, you get 27. It's not just 3 times 3, it's 3 times 3 times 3. And that is the physical reality of cubing.
Which brings us to our formal definition. A perfect cube is the total volume you get when a base number is multiplied 3 times by itself. We write it as a to the power of 3, or a cubed. So if our base number is 4, then a cubed is 4 times 4 times 4, which gives us 64. So 64 is the perfect cube, the total volume when all 3 dimensions of our physical block are exactly the same size.
Moving on to Section 2, Hidden Patterns of Cubes. Now that we know what a perfect cube is, things start to get really interesting. Because when you project numbers into 3D space like this, they leave behind fascinating hidden clues and patterns if we look closely enough.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the incredible predictability of the last digit, the unit digit of any perfect cube. Check out this pattern. If your base number ends in 1, 4, 5, 6, or 9, its cube is going to end in that exact same number. 4 cubed is 64, ends in 4. 5 cubed is 125, ends in 5. But look at the numbers 3 and 7. They have this secret little partnership. If a number ends in 3, its cube ends in 7, like 3 cubed is 27, and it flips perfectly. If a number ends in 7, its cube ends in 3. 7 cubed is 343. This predictable fingerprint, it's going to be incredibly useful for us later on.
Another absolutely vital pattern to grasp is how cubes handle positive and negative signs. You might remember from dealing with squares that any number, positive or negative, becomes positive when squared, right? Because 2 negatives cancel out. But in the 3D cube world, we multiply 3 times. So if you take -2 and cube it, it's -2 times -2 times -2. The first 2 make a positive 4, but that third multiplication, it turns it right back into a -8. So the rule of thumb, the cube of a positive number is always positive, and the cube of a negative number is always negative.
Let's move on and look at what I think is one of the most beautiful hidden properties in math. Cube numbers are actually just the sum of consecutive odd numbers. Seriously, look closely at this. 2 cubed is 8. Well, that's exactly 3 plus 5, 2 consecutive odd numbers. 3 cubed is 27. That's 7 plus 9 plus 11, 3 consecutive odd numbers. 4 cubed is 64, which is 13 plus 15 plus 17 plus 19. Notice how the number of odd numbers you're adding perfectly matches your base number? It's just astonishing how these heavy 3D volumes are secretly built from simple consecutive odd numbers. All right, Section 3, the magnifying glass factorization. But what happens when we stumble upon a massive number and we need to know for sure if it's a true perfect cube? We need our primary detective tool. Prime factorization basically breaks a number down into its absolute core ingredients. For a number to be a perfect cube, it absolutely must adhere to the rule of 3. Look at the number 1728. If we break it down into its prime factors, we get a long string of 2s and 3s. But count them up. We have exactly 2 distinct groups of 3 2s and 1 distinct group of 3 3s. Every single prime factor appears in a perfect triplet. Because there are no leftover factors hanging around, we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that 1728 is a true perfect cube.
Now contrast that with the number 800. Let's run our test. We break 800 down and we find one perfect group of 3 2s. Great. But then we're left with 2 more 2s and 2 5s. They fail to make groups of 3. This instantly tells us 800 is not a perfect cube. But here's the cool part. Our magnifying glass tells us exactly how to fix it. To become a perfect cube, 800 desperately needs one more 2 and one more 5 to complete those triplets. Multiply 800 by 10 and you'd get 8,000, a perfect cube.
Section 4, reversing it. Cube roots. Okay, now that we know how to build and verify a cube, let's transition to working backwards. Let's move from having the total volume back down to finding the single side length.
This inverse operation is called finding the cube root. Just as subtraction undoes addition, the cube root completely undoes the cube. We represent this with a radical symbol, much like a square root, but you'll notice it has a tiny little 3 tucked right into that top left notch. Whenever you see that symbol, the math is simply asking you, hey, what single number multiplied by itself 3 times gives us the number inside this box?
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how we use our prime factorization tool to find the answer. Let's take the cube root of 2744. We break it down into its primes. We get 3 2s and 3 7s. Because we're finding the root, those triplets perfectly collapse. The group of 3 2s just becomes a single 2. The group of 3 7s becomes a single 7. Multiply 2 by 7 and you get 14. So 14 cubed is 2744. We've successfully reverse-engineered the puzzle.
Which brings us to Section 5, the estimation math hack. Factorization is powerful, for sure, but man, it can be time-consuming for really large numbers. So for our final section, I'm going to show you a clever hack to bypass all that tedious multiplication and division entirely.
This is the estimation method. And while it's a shortcut, it's actually highly precise logical thinking, not guesswork. Here are the exact steps. Step 1. Start from the right side of your massive number and group the digits into sets of 3. Step 2. Look at that first group on the right. This is going to magically unlock the unit digit of your final answer. Step 3. Look at whatever numbers are left over on the left, your second group. You use basic cube knowledge to estimate the tens digit. Okay, let's actually apply this together.
So the crucial point is seeing this in action. We want to find the cube root of 17,576. Step 1. Group by 3s from the right. Our first group is 576. Our second group is the leftover 17. Step 2. The number 576 ends in a 6. Remember our secret unit digit pattern from earlier? If a cube ends in 6, its root must end in 6. Boom! We instantly know the last digit of our answer is 6. Step 3. Look at the 17. What perfect cube surrounds 17? Well, 2 cubed is 8, and 3 cubed is 27. Since 17 sits right there between 8 and 27, the tens digit has to belong to the lower base number, which is 2. Put the 2 and the 6 together, and your answer is 26. Literally, without doing a single bit of long division, you just calculated the cube root of 17,576. How cool is that?
All right, let's quickly recap what we've decoded about the third dimension today. A perfect cube is a base number multiplied by itself 3 times. Positive roots make positive cubes, negative roots make negative cubes. We discovered they can actually be written as sums of consecutive odd numbers. We used prime factorization's rule of 3 to test for perfect cubes, and we finally mastered the estimation hack to reverse engineer massive roots right in our heads using unit digit patterns.
Before we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one final provocative puzzle pulled right from the exercises, just to keep those mathematical gears turning long after we're done here. Based on everything we've explored about how numbers behave in 3D space, what do you think is the maximum number of digits possible for the cube of a 2-digit number? Think about the absolutely largest 2-digit number out there, 99. If you were to cube that, how massive does the answer physically get? I highly encourage you to use the tools we discussed today to visualize the answer. Thanks so much for watching, and keep investigating the hidden math all around you.